done to check this menace?
Well, you're right. There have been few instances which have been reported, both in the recruitment of the soldiers, Jawans, where the question paper had leaked out, and also in the selection process for the officer cadets, where there was some connivance between the staff at the Services Selection Board. Both these cases came to light because of our own internal investigations, and we have all the time maintained that we will not allow any such corrupt practices to happen in the organization, and that is why we keep monitoring these sensitive places for any kind of wrongdoing or mischief. Once these cases came to light, we realized that there are other parties involved, there are civilians also involved, there are transactions which have been made to the bank, there are call records which need to be looked into, and we don't have the mandate or authority to do this kind of investigation, and that is why we decided to give it to the CBI, who will be able to go into the depth of the matter and carry out the investigation much faster and better than what we could possibly have done. But it is certainly that we will not tolerate any such incidents or activities, and we will come down heavily on whoever tries to malign the army through such very incorrect activities. There is no question of shielding anybody who is indulging in such kind of malpractices.
Sir, so far...
But at the same time, I would also like to give a message to the youth of the country who are wanting to join the armed forces to not fall prey to these middlemen who keep making these false promises. There is very little chance. The system, we try to make the system as strong as possible, but there is very little chance of getting in by this back door and through these illegal means. And no matter when such a misdeed comes to light, anybody who's got enrolled or got selected through improper means, his services can be terminated any time, whether it is during training or during service or even 20 years later. So my ardent appeal to everyone would be, follow the correct procedure, get selected on your own merit, and be in the army with a clean conscience.
So, sir, you are saying that even if a person has served for 20 years as an officer or as a Jawan, and it's found out that there was a bribery or any kind of that malpractice to enter the army, that person can be sacked?
Yes, absolutely.
Sir, coming to the situation along the Pakistan border, we have seen that there has been a ceasefire last few days in March. The ceasefire is holding, but we have seen that the number of terrorist related incidents in the last few days is going up. You think, and there is a doubt that the Pakistan army is behind it, you think that the Pakistan army is serious about the ceasefire as it continues to help the terrorist infrastructure operating in Jammu and Kashmir?
We should see this issue in two parts actually. One is the ceasefire on the line of control, and one is the terrorist activities which are there. Now, as far as the ceasefire is concerned, there was an official agreement right from understanding. I won't even call it an agreement. From 2003, there was nothing in writing, there was nothing which was signed that we will have a ceasefire on the LC. But from 2003, initially it was successful, but by and by the firing only increased. And we reached a stage in the last few years, 2016, 17, right up to 20, where the violations were in the thousands, 3,000 a year, 4,000 a year. So obviously there was no point of having such a loose kind of understanding. And these violations were not helping anyone. especially that was not contributing to peace and development. It was causing a lot of hardship to the civilian population on either side. They were not able to pursue their livelihoods without any fear of untoward consequences. So I think it was a very conscious decision that we need to restart or re-honor that old ceasefire understanding which was there, and therefore we decided that we will again have an agreement, and that is how on 25th of February the joint statement was issued. And having issued that, I'm very happy to state that in the month of March there has been peace and quiet on the LC. There has been no major violation of the ceasefire. An odd incident has taken place where maybe 1 or 2 rounds have been fired, but more or less the ceasefire is holding. I am quite confident that at least the ceasefire part will succeed in the times to come. But the other side, as you were asking, is the terrorism side. Now the terror camps and infrastructure still exist on the other side of the LC. Now for terrorism to come down or incidents of terrorist related activities to come down, obviously those camps also on the other side have to get dismantled. And it is only when the snows melt will we come to know how serious Pakistan is about dismantling this terror infrastructure and sending or putting people across. But we also have some of the local terrorists who increasingly feel marginalized. And in the recent past, these 1 or 2 acts which have taken place, whether attack on the sweet shop or the attack on the local councillors, these are just acts of desperation on their part when they see the way the normalcy is returning. In fact, this year during the winter in Gulmarg, there were so many tourists, it was just like normalcy. And a room which is normally available for 2,000 or 3,000 rupees was going for 15,000 rupees. That is the kind of rush which was there. That is the kind of normalcy which was there. So obviously they are trying to spoil the atmosphere by these random acts of terror.
Sir, you said that, that the terrorist infrastructure still exists, but the ceasefire is holding. Have we seen any attempts by the Pakistan Army to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure that exists in POK on their side of the areas controlled by Pakistan Army?
As yet there are no concrete signs of any reduction in this kind of infrastructure or the terrorists. But the fact that there have been no major attempts to infiltrate across the LC over the last 1 month is indicative of at least some change at the ground level. So we'll have to see now, even after the snows melt and the passes open up, the coming summers, whether this situation persists. And that will be actually the true indicator of their intentions.
And sir, talking about the internal security situation in Jammu and Kashmir, how do you look at it in the backdrop of increase in terrorist recruitment and radicalization of youth in the valley?
As I just mentioned, the cases of terrorism and terrorist related incidents which have occurred, the strikes on a CRPF patrolling party or on the local councillors, these are just attempts by them to stay relevant, to stay in the limelight. But by and large, actually the situation has seen a very great improvement. And this is borne out by the facts and figures on ground, as I mentioned about the Gulmarg and the tourist inflows. So it has been very good. But yes, incidents like this will happen. There are youth who are still joining the terrorist ranks, and our endeavor is to wean these misguided youth away from this wrong path that they're taking, and that is the focus. We are always alive to this threat of new recruitment, and we always try our best to prevent the youth from joining the militant ranks. And nothing would make us happier or makes us happier when somebody who has joined or about to join actually renounces that path and comes back to,
To the mainstream.
to the mainstream and to our fold. That makes us much more happy.
Sir, coming to the other front, we have been in a military standoff situation with China for almost a year now, and in February we saw the Chinese and our troops disengage from both the banks of Pengong Tso. What is the situation along the LAC? Uh, what with China? What is the position there now in Eastern Ladakh and LAC in general?
Well, after the 9th round of the Corps Commander level talks, we had agreed upon a phased disengagement from these friction areas. And as per that, from 10th February onwards, the disengagement started. And it went according to the plan, where from the north and south bank of Pengong Tso, as well as from the Kailash range, people have gone back to their nearest permanent locations. And thereby the face-to-face deployment which was there, and which because of which there could have been chances of miscalculation, that has now receded. So we have gone back, and as a result of that, now there is relative peace and tranquility in the LAC.
Sir, this is the first time we are talking to you after the disengagement happened. Have we lost out on any territory? Have we ceded anything? How do you see the situation? Who can we term as a victor in this entire?
No, I
episode?
think firstly, we have not lost out on any territory. We are where we were before this whole thing started. But as a result of this agreement, it has been reached on the principle of mutual and equal security. So I think that should be the way we look at this whole disengagement process, that it serves the interests of both countries to have a very stable LAC and with less chances of any confrontation taking place. That should be the larger viewpoint that we take.
And not an inch has been lost.
Not an inch has been lost, that's right.
Sir, what is the situation on the other friction points? Now we have seen disengagement from Pengong Tso Lake, but there are other friction points where they were aggressive, like Gogra, Hot Springs, and Depsang. What's the situation?
We are approaching this whole issue in a step-by-step manner. So the initial step was, of course, the disengagement, which I've just talked about. So future rounds of talks will continue, and I'm sure that through these talks we will be able to narrow down our differences and arrive at a acceptable solution, once again based on mutual and equal security, and which is acceptable to both sides, and only when it is acceptable to both sides will it actually succeed. So we will keep working at it.
And sir, last year also, it was around the same time, March, April time frame, when the Chinese forces came for exercises and they moved towards our frontier and entered some of our areas. What is the preparation this time, sir? Now, after the winters are over, are we going back to our summer deployments, increased deployments? Will we see that?
No, we had certain amount of additional deployments. As I mentioned, that we have only disengaged. There has been no de-escalation. So whatever troops were in that area remain there. It is only that from the friction points they have gone back the agreed distances. So the additional forces remain in place, and because of that we are well poised to take on anything should something unfortunate happen in this summer also.
So there is no possibility anybody can surprise us now?
No, I don't think that is possible now, because we are there in adequate strength.
And sir, now this issue has happened, this Chinese aggression happened last year during the COVID times. Now we've been hearing a lot about rebalancing our troops deployments. Can we say now that sir, China has become our main security challenge over Pakistan, and what changes can we see in near future, distant future, in terms of our deployment of assets and troops on the LAC?
Well, we've always had two active borders, western and northern, and a review of operational plans is an ongoing process. It is carried out at a periodic interval. It need not be every 6 months or yearly, but at a periodical interval, based on this changing situation, based on various intelligent inputs, such kind of reappraisals keep happening, and based on that, certain amount of redeployments, rebalancings keep happening. But those are, as I said, a continuous process, and based on an analysis, we will obviously make certain changes, but those will fall in the operational domain, and obviously I will not like to get into the specifics of that.
And sir, in the recent, lastly, I just want to ask, sir, there has been a lot of talk about strengthening the Mountain Strike Corps on the northern front. Any steps in that?
As I said, we keep carrying out these various analysis of and operational reviews, and based on that, some changes keep happening. But exactly what those changes are, I think we should not discuss in the open domain.
Sir, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you. Welcome.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें, और हाँ, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए News 24।